The night the girl appeared on Daniel Harper's porch, the rain was so heavy, it felt like the sky was trying to erase the world. She stood there barefoot, drenched, trembling, holding nothing but a torn backpack, and a stare so empty, it was frightening. Daniel almost didn't open the door. He was a single father already stretched thin by life, grief, and responsibility. But something in that girl's eyes stopped him, something broken and quietly pleading, as if she had already learned that asking too loudly only made people walk away. That moment, that single decision to open the door, would change not only his life but shake the past of a billionaire who had been searching for his lost daughter since 2002. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of doing the right thing even when it's hard, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts around the world. Daniel Harper was not a man of privilege. He lived in a small aging house on the edge of a fading town, worked long hours repairing electrical systems, and raised his 8-year-old son Lucas, alone since his wife passed away years earlier. Grief had carved deep lines into Daniel's face, but it had also softened his heart. When the girl couldn't tell him her name, her age, or where she came from, Daniel didn't press. He gave her dry clothes, warm food, and the guest room that had been empty for years. The next morning, she woke up screaming from a nightmare she couldn't explain, clutching her head as if memories were clawing to escape. Doctors later said she had trauma-induced amnesia, likely from years of neglect, or worse, she had no documents, no missing person report that matched her description, and no past anyone could trace. To the system, she barely existed. Daniel named her Emily, not to replace who she once was, but to give her something to hold on to. Life didn't suddenly become easier. Money was tighter. Lucas struggled to understand why a stranger now sat at their table every night. Emily was quiet, withdrawn, startled by sudden noises, and terrified of being left alone. Daniel worked himself to exhaustion, juggling bills, school meetings, and endless appointments, often questioning whether love alone was enough to fix something this broken. There were nights he sat in his truck after work, head against the steering wheel, wondering if he had made a mistake, wondering if he was failing both children. But every morning, Emily waited for him in the kitchen, making clumsy attempts at breakfast, her eyes lighting up just a little when she saw him. And slowly, that was enough. Years passed, and something remarkable happened in the ordinary rhythm of life. She learned to ride a bike with Lucas running beside her, cheering as if she'd just won a race. She started school, struggled at first, then surprised everyone with her intelligence and artistic talent. Daniel watched her draw the same symbol over and over without knowing why. A strange crest, she said, felt important. He never pushed for answers. He believed healing came from safety, not pressure. What he didn't know was that halfway across the country, a man named William Ashford, one of the wealthiest businessmen in the world, still funded private investigators, charities, and global searches for the daughter who vanished without a trace in 2002. William Ashford had lost everything that mattered, the day his 6-year-old daughter disappeared from a private airport during a security failure that still haunted him. His marriage collapsed under the weight of guilt. His empire grew, but his heart remained frozen in that moment of loss. Every year on her birthday, he shut himself away, staring at the last photo he had of her. Over time, hope faded into routine sorrow. Until one day, nearly 2 decades later, a charity art exhibition caught his attention. A teenage girl's drawing featured the exact family crest passed down through the Ashford lineage, a symbol never publicly shared. William felt his breath leave his body as he stared at it, something deep and instinctive screaming that this was impossible and undeniable at the same time. Investigators moved quietly, carefully. When they finally arrived at Daniel's home, he thought the world was about to take Emily away from him. Fear unlike anything he had ever known wrapped around his chest. He remembered every scraped knee he'd cleaned, every nightmare he'd soothed, every moment he'd promised she was safe. Tests confirmed the truth Daniel never imagined. Emily was not just a lost child, she was the missing daughter of William Ashford, taken long ago by people who abandoned her when she became inconvenient. leaving her to survive a world that forgot her name. The reunion was not the dramatic miracle people imagine. Emily was confused, overwhelmed, torn between a past she couldn't remember and the only father she had ever known. William Ashford fell to his knees when he saw her, not as a billionaire, but as a broken man begging forgiveness from time itself. And Daniel stood there, invisible to the headlines, quietly preparing himself to let go. But something unexpected happened. Emily chose to stay close to Daniel. She didn't reject her biological father, but she refused to erase the man who had saved her when no one else would. Love, she proved, was not something that could be bought or replaced. The world watched as the story spread, praising wealth, miracle reunions, and destiny. It was a tired single dad who opened a door on a rainy night. William Ashford publicly acknowledged Daniel, not with money alone, but with respect, calling him the man who gave his daughter life when hope was gone. Emily, now reclaiming her true name, never forgot where she came from, or who carried her through the darkness without asking for anything in return. Just before we reach the end, we ask you to comment one word that this story made you feel, because your words matter and help others find hope too. And if this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that love can change destinies and that ordinary people can do extraordinary things, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your engagement keeps these stories alive and reaching those who need them most. Because sometimes, the greatest legacy isn't built by power or money, but by a single choice to care, made on a rainy night when no one else was watching.